The aces represent, you know, the start of something, but the page is like also a very young energy within a relationship. And it's also with the Wands card, it's also an energy that is very much innocent and enthusiastic. And that certainly describes Gemini. You're the first air sign. You are very enthusiastic about learning and communicating. And oh yeah, how could I forget? The page relates to communications. You may hear something that you want to hear. And the other thing I was saying to another sign was that we're having this Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your ruler. And that is starting on August 30th, I believe. And so as September begins, we're going to be in the throes of a Mercury retrograde for a few weeks. Now, generally speaking, Mercury retrogrades can throw a lot of snafus our way, but one of the things that you can sometimes have happen is that you hear from people, if you know, in your life. And so I'm trying to think. So I'm thinking that Virgo would be in your 4th house. It's got to be, right? So if that's the case, you might be hearing, that's where the Mercury retrograde will be happening. And of course it depends on your, I think that it would probably be for everyone this way, but in any case, what will be happening is that you may hear from somebody in your family, but you may also hear from somebody that is from your hometown, so where you grew up, because the 4th house is the house of home and family, but I would also extend it to your childhood home and your childhood environment. So if you have any kind of a past love situation, you might hear from somebody, you never know. And coupled with that card is the 9 of Wands, and this could be an energy of, this is another thing of like someone, I would say, that you have been dealing with. Maybe it's that fire sign, because it is a Wands. If you were dealing with somebody that was a fire sign that's problematic, they may try to come back. So you're going to have to be prepared, and you know, maybe some of this will happen during the first few weeks during the Mercury retrograde as well. The higher message is the 9 of Pentacles. So this card relates to someone who is spending time on their own. This could be a facet of you, I guess you could say, is that this is something to look forward to in your own life, is just being alone. If you do finally decide that you have to make that decision, you can experience the peace that the number 9 brings. You know, in the major arcana, the 9 is a hermit card. And so there's like a spiritual connection to the number 9. And actually we are in a 9 universal year. So that resonates with what is happening in the larger world. And of course, September is a 9, is the number 9 as a month, you know, and in and of itself, of course. But no, actually, I'm sorry, I just keep like interrupting here, but I'm thinking because you have to add the universal year to the month, and that's 18, and that adds up to 9. So that's perfect for you to be this way during during November, September, and because it's a higher message. If you're having any kind of qualms about breaking up with somebody, think about what you have to gain. You have the ability to kind of enjoy the comforts of your home by yourself and be self-sufficient. And it can even be kind of a spiritually rejuvenating period of time for you. What crosses you is, guess what? Another 9. 9 of Cups. And this is actually a very positive card, the wish fulfillment card. So in terms of it crossing you, it could just be too much of a good thing. You know, this is a very positive card too, the 6 of Wands. And it may be relating to something other than your love life. It may be relating to your career. Maybe you have a very successful month or successful year, 2016. And it may have put a strain on your relationship, but it's been good for you in that sense. And this card is also about you indulging, but maybe there's like a little bit too much going on in that area. And maybe you're a little bit overdoing it to some degree, but it's kind of like one of those happy problems, I would say. You know, it's not something that, and you know, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of abundance as well. So it sounds like a lot of good stuff is happening for you. And it's just a matter of, you know, temperance. Going back to that first card, or one of the first cards. What helps you during this time, and this goes along with what you may have already been doing, is the the 8 of Pentacles. And this is a card of the workman, the person who is, you know, busy at their craft, and it's really honing her craft. And so if you have been having problems in a relationship, sometimes the best remedy for that is to kind of bury, or what was I going to say, not bury your issues, but to focus on your work and really, it's not so much a distraction, but finding constructive use for your energy. And this is easy to do when you're already experiencing success. I think for people who don't know what they want to do, this can pose more of a challenge. And so what I would say, I can't think of who said the quote, but it might have been Buddha, I'm not sure, but somebody said your job is to find out what your purpose is, or something like that. And so that might be what some of you must do too. Maybe some of you know who you are and you're aligned with your purpose and you're steadily working that out, and some of you are still at the stage, and it's not age related. You could be 50 years old and still wondering, okay, what am I here for? And that's good. As long as you're asking the question, it's all good. And so by just really putting your attention on it, you will likely figure it out. And sometimes it will come in very unexpected ways. And I think about myself in that sense, because I really had an idea in a totally different sense of what I wanted to do. And then things just kind of appeared to me. And, I think back and I think that is the best way, if you have to have a way to find your path, is to have it appear. Because trial and error can get a little old sometimes, especially when there's been too much trial and too much error and not enough solid results. So yeah, that's just the 8 of Pentacles is about you aligning with your purpose and kind of perfecting your craft. It could also, and I did pick some pentacles, there could be an earth sign person involved. And that would be either a Taurus, a Virgo, Capricorn. And that might be this person might be actually who is the better person for you if you're making a choice. And, if there is somebody that is an earth sign in your life, you may have actually questioned whether this person was a good person because you might have thought that they were so different from you, and they probably are. But they may complement you, they may ground you, and you may make a good team. The advice is the Fool card, so it's about understanding that you're embarking on a new path. You're in a new cycle, and it's time to travel that new path and not to cling to the past and bring the past with you in the form of that knapsack, and just to have no preconceived notions and have no direction. Just go and explore, see what you find, and you will likely find what you're looking for. The outcome is the Emperor card. So for some of you, when I kept saying that fire sign, it could have been an Aries person. And Aries and Gemini get along very well. I was just talking a private reading about Warren Beatty and how he was such a womanizer, and then he got with Annette Bening, and she's a Gemini and he's an Aries, and you know, they've been married ever since. This person may not be an Aries, but it may be somebody in the military or somebody who is in law enforcement, and this person is going to be a lot different than you. And maybe that person, if he's not an air sign, they may, an Aries person, it might be somebody who is, I was going to say, if it's not an Aries person, it could be somebody who is very dogmatic. Sometimes I think of a Capricorn, okay? And, but anybody who sees life in a very rigid way. And so it could be that you're consulting a judge or a lawyer about a divorce case. Maybe you're deciding whether or not to get divorced, and you decided to get divorced. And so this is the person who is in charge of consultations. It could be, and this maybe you are in that stage already, and that judgment is going to be coming in. But whatever happens, I feel like you're going to be financially secure. If you're worried about something like that, I feel like you're going to have more than enough, and it might just be that your real challenge is not to become too indulgent, or there's a term that means smug about all of your successes, because this is you being very successful, and you need to kind of keep things balanced, the tempered, because if you go off the rails because you're having so much good success, and this maybe even like people telling you, praising you, you might end up either neglecting a potential partner who is right for you, but maybe not very flashy, or you could kind of think that you're too good for the person you're currently with. Maybe you're wondering whether or not you should leave, and you have a perfectly fine partner. Maybe you just want the freedom to come and go and to maybe stray, and you resent somebody impinging upon your freedom, because I know that can happen with Gemini. You're a mutable sign, you're a mutable air sign, so you have that need for variety and for fluidity. You don't do very well stagnating, and so sometimes if the relationship doesn't seem like very lively, you may drift off. And so if that's the case, you will have to make a decision so that you can truly turn a page, because this is about turning a page. This person, this is a zero sum, this is like the very, very beginning of something. And so in order to really have a new beginning, you have to tie up the loose ends, right? So anyway, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Obviously, it's a, public reading, or a general love reading. If you would like a private love reading using your natal chart to pinpoint your personal patterns and tendencies along with the tarot, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great September. Bye.